Speaker. I welcome you to the committee meeting of the parastatal bodies. We'll begin by introducing ourselves, then your team, and thereafter we'll delve into your submission. So my introductions begin from my far left.
Through you, Chair, good morning, witness. I'm Mono Mapani, Member of Parliament for Namala constituency. Thank you.
Good morning once more, Chair. Good morning, Human Rights Commission. My name is Vumango Msumali, Member of Parliament for Zambezi West constituency in the northwestern province of Zambia, and a member of this committee. You're most welcome.
Good morning, HRC, and good morning, Chair. My name is Muvita Anakoka, Member of Parliament for Luena constituency. You're welcome.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, witness. Member Julian, Member of Parliament for Chifunabuli constituency in Iwapura province. You are welcome. Thank you.
Secretary.
Good morning.
Please go ahead, ma'am.
Good morning, Chair. Morning, witness. I'm Mutinta Masoka, nominated member and a member of this committee. Thank you.
Honorable Kampiongo.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Madam. Stephen Kampiongo, MP Shoreland constituency and member of this committee. You're welcome.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Director General HRC with your team. My name is Sanford Mwinde from the Office of the Clerk.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning, honorable members. Good morning, HRC. My name is Sheila Mwenya from the Office of the Clerk.
We will proceed to introduce yourselves.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. My name is Mbololwa Wamunyima, and I'm the Director General for the Human Rights Commission.
Good morning, Honorable Chairperson and members. My name is Tyson Mudenda. I'm the Director Legal for the Human Rights Commission. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Honorable members. My name is Chilambe Mpanga. I'm Manager Legal at the Human Rights Commission. Thank you.
As you appear before this committee or indeed any other committee of Parliament, you are under Cap 12 protected using the same provisions that grants members of Parliament immunity to say what they would want to say, and that will not be used outside this Parliament or in any court of law. However, that information must be factual, and if the information is not factual and you willfully woof about it, the same law would be used against you. I know you have no such intentions. My name is Honorable Dr. Chitalu Chulufya, a Member of Parliament for Masi Central and Chairman of the Committee on Parastatal Bodies. DG, you could proceed with your submission.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. With your permission, I'll go straight into our comments, which is paragraph 2.0 on overview of the 2026 budget allocation to head 10. The Commission observes that the estimated budget allocation for the Zambia Police Service Commission is 26.7 million, aimed at implementing 3 program areas: human resource management, governance and standards, and management and support services. The summary budget estimates for the thematic program areas indicate that 15.5 million kwacha is for personal emoluments, 10.8 million for goods and services, and 330,000 for the acquisition of assets. The Commission notes that there have not been any major variations to budget allocations for the Zambia Police Service Commission in comparison with the 2025 budget. Adequacy and ramifications of the 2026 budget allocation in meeting set targets. The Commission is of the view, honorable members, that the estimated budget allocation for the Zambia Police Service Commission is adequate in meeting its set targets, as the said targets are focused on human resource management within the Zambia Police Service. The Commission notes that the Governance and Standards Program has been allocated an estimated budget of 7.3 million kwacha, which budget focuses on monitoring and evaluating compliance with the Code Code of Ethics, Human Resource Management Principles and Values. The Commission observes that the Zambia Police Service Commission has set all output indicator targets at 100% and aims to provide quality services in line with Strategy 5 of Good Governance Development Outcome as provided for in the 8th National Development Plan. However, the Zambia Police Service Commission has not provided for the dissemination and training of the proposed standards, guidelines and regulations it shall be reviewing in 2026. The Commission suggests that the Zambia Police Service Commission needs to disseminate these standards, guidelines and regulations to the Zambia Police Service officers in order to enhance service delivery. Inasmuch as it is important to strengthen the human resource management systems at the Zambia Police Service Commission, it is not sufficient without cascading the said standards to officers, especially junior officers within the Zambia Police Service. Honorable members, it is therefore the Commission's position that the Governance and Standards Program estimated budget for the Zambia Police Service Commission is to that extent constrained as it lacks capacity building for Zambia Police Service officers whose mandate includes the promotion and upholding of the Bill of Rights pursuant to Article 193(2)(e) of the Constitution of Zambia. The Commission notes that the Human Resource Management Program has been allocated 11.8 million kwacha, with 7.9 million for salaries and 3.8 million for general operations aimed at providing supervision to the Zambia Police Service workforce so as to fortify corporate culture and maintain values and principles. The Commission observes that the only capacity to be built is that of human resource management committees. This in itself is a concern, as persons who are supervised by the Zambia Police Service Commission are left out of the very standards and values they are supposed to uphold and operate within. Finally, the Commission observes that the management and support services have been allocated 7.6 million kwacha, of which 5.2 million is for personal emoluments, 2.4 million for goods and services, and 90,000 for outstanding liabilities. This allocation is adequate for the Zambia Police Service Commission to effectively and efficiently provide administrative services in fulfilling its mandate and functions. How the 2026 budget aligns with national and international commitments, the Commission commends the estimated budget allocation for the Zambia Police Service Commission as it aligns with the 8th National Development Plan in relation to Strategic Development Outcome 4 on good governance environment, as the Zambia Police Service Commission monitors and evaluates the performance and conduct of Zambia Police Service officers in executing their duties. However, the Commission is concerned with the lack of a clear budget line on the part of the Zambia Police Service Commission to enhance the capacity of the Zambia Police Service officers in the management of various cases that are reported at police stations. Further, the Commission notes that the Zambia Police Service officers whose duties include upholding fundamental human rights for Zambians are mostly culprits in violating these rights, and it is therefore cardinal that the Zambia Police Service Commission should have budgeted for capacity building for officers to operate within the highest ethical standards that reflect the values and principles provided for in the Constitution. In conclusion, honorable members, the Commission has observed that although the budget estimates for the Zambia Police Service Commission are adequate in order to support the strengthening of the human resource management policies, it has not provided for capacity building for Zambia Police Service officers in terms of enhancing their standards and conduct when delivering services to the Zambian populace. Capacity building for Zambia Police Service officers is important in promoting and protecting the Bill of Rights, which the Zambia Police Service is constitutionally mandated to uphold pursuant to Article 193 of the Constitution of Zambia. I submit, Honorable Chairperson.
DG, thank you so much for your succinct submission. Honorable members are now at liberty to engage with DG and her team on points of clarification on the submission. Honorable Mapani.
Thank you, Chair. It's just a matter of seeking for clarity, Chair, on 2.3.3. On further, the Commission notes that the Zambia Police Service officers whose duties including upholding the fundamental human rights for Zambians. I just want to find out how often you have workshops, or do you have workshops with the Zambia Police to ensure that they actually visited with this law? Because indeed I agree with you that to some extent the Zambia Police are actually culprits, but how often, after identifying that fact, do you have workshops with them just to enlighten them on the same? I submit.
Any further questions? Honorable Kampyongo.
Chair, it's just maybe two. In your submission, you share with us that the funds are adequate. I don't know if you had time to discuss with the Commission on the money they have been given for you to come up with this conclusion that you feel it's adequate for them to meet their undertakings.
Which commission?
The Police Service Commission. Because in their submission they are saying the budget estimates for the Zambia Police Service Commission are adequate in order to support the strengthening of human resource management policies. That's why I was asking if they had interacted with them before they came to this conclusion. You have also talked about capacity building, and indeed the Police Service Commission cannot promote people whose capacity they cannot ascertain, because you must be able to follow the progression of these officers in order for you to be satisfied that they are indeed capable of moving from their rank to another rank above, which come and the ranks obviously come with different responsibilities. How are you, as a rider on what my colleague asked Honorable MP Fonamwala, do you have deliberate engagements as human rights to see how institutions such as this commission are handling the human resource affairs of the men and women in uniform? Because as you know, many of these hinges on human rights. They are people whose rights have been trampled upon. Serving in the police service for 20 years without being recognition, despite the academic credentials one officer acquires along the way, they are ignored just because they are in Kaputa. So they would be working 20 years in the service without being recognized. This borders on human rights violations. Do you take keen interest to see functional systems that are able to track the progression of officers so that their integrity is protected, so that they serve their citizens with dedication? I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Further questions? Honorable Nyemba.
Not so much from me, Chair. I just want to write on Honorable Kampyongo and Honorable Mapani's human rights to our officers. Director General, especially our officers who are minding the bridges. I take keen interest, especially with Tuta Bridge, where even the door is not there. I don't know whether you have taken a survey of the human rights being violated by our officers. And you find most of the time 02 you meet them with a gun. They are drunk, and sometimes they are not even looking healthy. I don't know how your commission has done about it. Thank you. Maybe they are even frustrated because of maybe overstaying there. And then sometimes also I interviewed some officers. Why are you hiding your faces? They told me to mind the banks. But the people who enters the bank, they know us from where we come from, and we are not promoted. They look at our uniform. You can even find to say most of our officers as police officers are frustrated, and hence maybe they've resorted to alcohol. Thank you, Chair.
So I will invite you to respond. I will protect you from speaking as the Zambia Police Service Commission, because you are not. Yeah, but you will speak as the Human Rights Commission.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. I will start with the question. I will address the question by Honorable Mapani. Do we have engagements through workshops with the Zambia Police Service? Yes, Honorable Member, we do have engagements with the Zambia Police Service. We most recently had training specifically just for police officers conducted in Northwestern Province in Solwezi. And just last month, we were also presenting at Lilai Police College at a workshop organized by Security Wings. We submitted our concerns and also how the Zambia Police Service now has a constitutional mandate to uphold and promote the Bill of Rights, which is a constitutional mandate that we share with them. And therefore, we made recommendations that policing, they will need capacity in terms of understanding their new role, which is distinct from when it was Zambia Police Force compared to it being now the Zambia Police Service. Thank you, Chairperson.
In response to the second and the third question, in relation to the second question, the Commission had not enough time in order to engage the Zambia Police Service Commission on their budget. The analysis was already based on the Yellow Book as well as comparisons to the previous year's budget. We note that there is a slight increment from the previous year's budget, though slight, and the set targets that have been put in the Yellow Book for the Zambia Police Service Commission as relates to management of human resource systems and other policies to that effect. We believe that that is adequate to be able to fulfill their mandate. In relation to the third question on the capacity of the Zambia Police Service Commission in terms of promotions, we have had several engagements with Police Command. And one of the things when it comes to promoting deserving officers that comes to in response from the Zambia Police Service is that most of their budget is in relation to recruitments, such that promotions come administratively, and because they have to focus on recruitments, it becomes hard for them to move staff upwards without the requisite cabinet approval from the Treasury. That has been always the feedback. We do agree that there are deserving officers that need promotions, especially that their mandate has been enhanced from the Zambia Police Service Act as well as the Constitution. And in this regard, in relation to the promotion and the respect for human rights, we understand that among many state actors, the Zambia Police Service officers mostly fall prey to aspects of violating to some extent human rights, and also this may be attributed sometimes to the frustrations that they may have, especially that some of them have been in the system for longer periods without promotions or any recognitions. I submit. Thank you.
I palpate a feeling from the members that we are skewed towards the human rights for the citizens as opposed to the human rights for the officers. I would like you to come out clearly if you are ably handling both aspects, including the human rights of the officers who are accused of violating human rights for others. I guess that's the context in which the issue of the promotions and the motivation is coming in. For the budget analysis, you're on firm ground using the tools, the Yellow Book, and what you got. You're on firm ground to make an informed submission. We appreciate your submission. Yes, DG?
Thank you, Chairperson. So in terms of the human rights for the officers respectively themselves, we have had cases where officers have come to the Human Rights Commission complaining on infringement or abuse of their human rights. So we have had such situations. Then concerning, I want to also build up on what Mr. Mudenda spoke about on the workshops, capacity building. Yes, we have conducted workshops specifically for police officers, and them themselves have had workshops where they've invited us to make presentations on human rights. In addition to that, as our officers go to investigate places of detention, including police cells, our officers have engaged the police officers on certain human rights standards depending on what they have found there at the cells that they are investigating. So there is this constant interaction.
Honorable Msumali.
Thank you very much, Chair. And I'm glad that you have again pointed out the issue of adequacy in the Zambia Police Service Commission for the 2026 budget, which has been ably submitted by the DG for the Human Rights Commission. I just want to know the Commission, the action that they take when human rights abuses are reported to your office. The rights of citizens and of course the rights of the Zambia Police Service, which you have alluded that they come to you to report some grievances on their abrogation of their human rights. I would also want to know, I want you to comment on crime. On the hands of Zambia police, the crimes committed against citizens, like armed robbery and general crime, even murder. It has become fashionable now for the Zambia police to be involved in such acts, which, to the contrary, they're supposed to protect the citizenry, the general citizenry. What's the position of the Human Rights Commission on such kind of cases? How do you treat them? How do you help the victims? I thank you, Chair.
Further questions? DG and your team.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson and Honorable Member. What steps does the Commission take to provide redress to victims or complainants of human rights violations or abuse? Firstly, when we receive complaints or initiate or when we look at complaints on our own initiative, we begin by investigating to ascertain the veracity of the allegations of that complaint. So we begin by investigating, and after investigating, depending on the results of the investigation, the findings of the investigations, we may make recommendations pursuant to Section 21 of our Act, of the Human Rights Commission Act that Parliament gave to us. Then thereafter, last year we received the Human Rights Commission Act number 4 of 2024 that repealed the old act, and in this new act we've now been given the mandate to go to court on behalf of victims or complainants. So the third step that we take in order to provide redress to victims of human rights violations of abuse is to take matters to court, most especially pursuant to Article 28 of the Constitution, where the Bill of Rights may have been violated. These are the steps that we take in order to provide redress. And I am happy to report to this committee that so far we have commenced a number of matters pursuant to Article 28 and other provisions of the law in order to provide redress to victims of human rights. Thank you.
Well, it's reassuring to state that you come up with a position after investigations. Sometimes it's been worrisome, DG, that a matter of public interest has come in public and the Human Rights Commission has commented before engaging all the stakeholders. And by your stature, you carry weight. Do you think you infringe on the human rights of the people accused in those cases? Would you like to anchor on the process that the director there has said about thoroughly investigating before coming out open? Because there have been some instances that we can refer to, that the commissioner has spoken too early.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Indeed, it is very important that we investigate before coming up with a position. In fact, that's what the law states. Because if we do not do that, we might come up with a position which is actually maybe not accurate. And the populace out there would believe what the Human Rights Commission says because of its mandate. So they'll think whatever we've said is correct, even if it is not correct because we have not carried out our investigations properly. So I agree with you that that's very important for us. We are supposed to carry out our investigations before we come up with a position.
Thank you very much.
And just also to mention, Honorable Chair and members, concerning the procedure Mr. Mudenda stated, our Act actually provides that when we make a recommendation, for example, to a relevant authority after conducting our investigations, we are supposed to receive a response to that recommendation, the outcome of our recommendation. So that relevant authority is supposed to give us the outcome of our recommendation within a specified period. And if we do not receive that outcome or their position concerning our recommendation, there's a penalty fee that is attached to the relevant authority that has not responded to our recommendation within that specific period. Thank you.
Thanks, DG. Further questions? Honorable Nyemba.
Thank you, Chair. DG, I just want to find out how often do you go to sensitize the people, especially in rural areas, about their, human rights, because it's being abused a lot, especially because of the ignorance of our people. How often is office and your officers, do they go into rural areas to sensitize the people? Thank you.
I know that the best way Honorable Mapani gestures that he would like to speak is to smile. And I've seen him smiling. Honorable Mapani.
Chair, it's quite exciting that now the mandate has somehow been increased or added. Chair, there's the issue of a fee when you make a recommendation and people don't reciprocate. There's a fee attached. Assume there's something that you want to hear from State House and the President does not reciprocate or respond within time. What happens? That's the first one. Then secondly, don't you see need to advocate to have powers also to prosecute when things are not working out? I've asked this question because there are times when something which is purely in the eyes of everyone need legal attention, and then the human rights will end at recommendation. Nothing happens, and sometimes we have a couple of cases that have died natural death because no one's there to actually prosecute. And this issue of, as I think we are under inquisitorial kind of arrangement now, if no one moves the court, the case dies. So don't you see need that you people need to be given at least further authority to prosecute when need arises? Chair, I submit.
DG and your team.
I'll start, Chairperson, and my colleague and DG will further add. I'll begin with the earlier question. How often do we conduct sensitizations? We do conduct sensitizations quite often. We're mostly on radio, especially for the rural parts of the country. And also we conduct what we call legal clinics. These are outreach programs where we mount desks in a number of places. The last 2 months, we mounted a desk in Chongwe. We also mounted a desk in Mumbwa and other parts of the country, basically all 10 provinces. But it's a bit difficult with resources for us to reach all the districts. But we have presence in all the 10 provinces, and we do conduct these legal clinics in all the 10 provinces, including having radio programs and other type of shows. We have also taken advantage of the traditional ceremonies. So at every traditional ceremony, you will find the presence of the Human Rights Commission speaking to our mandate and how people can report human rights violations or abuse. Thank you. And in relation to the question, the tough question by Honorable Mapani, what will we do if we make the recommendation to State House? Fortunate enough, we haven't made one before to State House. Therefore, that would be difficult to test. So far, the relevant institutions we've dealt with, State House has not been one of them. We've made recommendations to Zambia Police, to NPA, and further in that same line, do we need the power to prosecute? When you look at the Human Rights Commission Act, the new act, there are offenses created under that act. One of them is what DG spoke to, where a recommendation is made and within 30 days a report has not been received by the commission. That creates an offense on the body that received the report and hasn't reverted to the commission within 30 days. And we have since engaged NPA. NPA is, the DPP is the chief prosecutor, and the DPP was happy to share with us that on a case-by-case basis, we can be allowed to prosecute. And also, where we need to, we can pass these reports to the DPP for NPA to consider prosecution of these offenses. Thank you, Chairperson.
Just to say that the law on the penalty fee, there's no exception, it applies to all. So regardless of the status of that institution, it would have to comply with that law.
So Mr. Mdela, don't be intimidated by titles. Yeah.
Thank you, Chairperson. We're guided. We're not intimidated at all.
Right. Your question?
Yes, Chair. I just want to make a follow-up on radio programs. You know, in rural areas, sometimes if network and people don't have, too much more radio programs. Don't you look at a situation in the near future where you can set up your desks at National Assembly offices so that people once in a while can pass through National Assembly offices and then you can interact with the people? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Member. That's a wonderful suggestion, and we take it with both arms for our consideration when we're conducting our outreach programs. Thank you.
So, DG, the Zambia Police Service is one of the key stakeholders of the Human Rights Commission in the promotion and protection of human rights. Do you see in this budget sufficient provision for that interface between yourselves and them? Anchoring on your far cry for engagement, for capacity building of the policemen, do you see sufficient provision in this budget for such engagement?
Honorable Chairperson, other than the issue we raised about capacity building, we do see adequate allocation, budget allocation for them to be able to carry out their functions effectively.
I will repeat my question. In the budget, do you see sufficient provision for interface between yourselves as Human Rights Commission and them? Or do you see an opportunity to increase the interface?
My view is that there is room for increase, especially again on that capacity building, because that's where I would actually interact more with the police on human rights issues. So if that could be increased, I think it would make the interface between the Human Rights Commission and the police more effective.
Right. Do you have sufficient human capital at the Human Rights Commission to provide the necessary support to the Zambia Police Service in terms of capacity capacity building for human rights?
Honorable Chairperson, we recently increased our operational institution, the structure. That was done just in 2024. But as much as we would want to see more personnel, we're restricted because of our budget allocation. But indeed, for us to be able to effectively carry out our mandate, even with the police, we are in need of more personnel in the Human Rights Commission. We currently have human rights champions in the provinces that assist us and in the districts, because we do not have presence in the districts, we only have presence in the provinces. So the champions come in to help us, but they are not as effective as it would be if we had our own staff even in the districts and more personnel in the provinces, because as much as we have presence in the provinces, the presence is not that adequate. They still need to employ more people.
At the risk of giving DG a platform to lobby for more budgetary support for our own commission, I'll still request that probably you engage further, and especially on digitization, so that you could support them electronically, using digital platforms to leverage on technology to increase your support or to improve your support to them. Their own digitization program, but also yours. I believe that you could buttress budgetary challenges that you have. Just a thought. Honorable Nakok.
Thank you, Chair. Human Rights Commission. I would like to get your views on mainstreaming human rights in the standard operating procedures of the Zambia Police Service, being one of the biggest, or if not the biggest, culprits when it comes to violation of human rights. Are you of the view that the current standard operating procedures are anchored respect for human rights? And Chair, maybe to make it a little bit clearer, we have of course common understanding. Police officers' word is law, and it's not uncommon for people to be picked up, locked up without any explanation of what it is that they have actually committed or alleged to have committed. Can or do our standard operating procedures as they sit now, of course backed by the law, allow an individual to say, I'm not going anywhere with you until you charge me? That's when I'm compelled to go with you. We see in other jurisdictions that even an interview between an individual and a police officer, they have to be informed. If anytime you don't want to continue talking to us, free to say so, and the interview will automatically come to an end. In our case, it is, oh, sufuna kukamba, okay, lock him up. He will eventually have to talk. So I think these issues are more to do with what is an individual entitled to under the standard operating procedure. Thank you, Chair.
I know that is provoking the legal minds you know, of the four lawyers I can see in the House. Yeah, a brief comment on it.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chair, and the Honorable Member here. Of course, we do have the guiding principles in the Constitution, at the center of which is human dignity and social justice, which is cardinal when it comes to the standard operating procedures for the Zambia Police Service. However, we note that these procedures for the Zambia Police Service are anchored on aspects of them being a force as it was before. And there is room to actually mainstream human rights and respect and promotion within the police service, with a change that now it is a service, that they need to provide a service to the people, unlike being a force where everything is done by command. We do see several times during our inspections at detention facilities, police cells and others, that we have persons who have overstayed in police custody without being charged. And one of our engagements is on the tenets of the law as to when a person, how long a person should stay before being charged, when they should appear. And I'm glad to inform the House that with the powers that Director did mention earlier on to institute proceedings for and on behalf of complainants, most of the cases that we have currently are on habeas corpus, to enforce some of these provisions that are guaranteed in the Constitution, that a person is supposed to appear before court within reasonable time and needs to be charged within 24 hours as per the provisions of the law. Thank you so much.
DG, your final comments.
Honorable Chairperson, on behalf of my team, I would like to thank you for this opportunity to make the presentation before this Honorable House. Thank you.
DG and your team, we want to express unfettered gratitude for making an appearance before the Committee on Parastatal Bodies. The Zambia Police Service Commission and the Human Rights Commission are key stakeholders in the promotion and protection of human rights. So when it comes to budget allocation for the Zambia Police Service, we would like to hear your voice, your input as to whether there is adequacy and if there is any suggestion you would make to better the budget for the Zambia Police Service Commission, so that it could ease that interface between these two important constitutionally founded institutions. We take note of your submission that human rights abuses are rife in the Zambia Police Service, and that you are working hard with the Zambia Police Service Commission to address this, and that you're calling for further funding for capacity building. And we would like to thank you most sincerely. And before you leave, would like to withdraw your immunity and let you enjoy your day. Thank you so much, DG.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Thank you, Honorable Members, and good day.
It's a lovely morning. There you have it. The Committee on Parastatal Bodies has just received submissions from the Human Rights Commission of Zambia, and they were looking at Head 10, that's the Zambia Police Service. Remember, the Committee on Parastatal Bodies is considering the estimates of revenue and expenditure for the financial year ended 2026, and other committees are actually, considering the same. And whenever we can, we'll bring as many committees on your screen so that you get to see the various submissions that these various committees are receiving right here on Parliament Television. Good morning.